Hello and welcome to this screencast about setting up an agile Java project. This session is going to take us through setting up a very simple project that will enable us to do test-driven development, automated builds, and automated artifact creation. We'll cover web application projects that produce WAR files, and also projects that produce libraries of Java classes in the form of jar files. The first thing we need to address when setting up a new project is the directory structure. Now that we have some place to store our unit tests, we're in a position to test drive our production code. I'm going to switch over to a view of our project in JetBrains IntelliJ just now. I'm using it because it'll make my code writing faster. You can use your favorite IDE or text editor to achieve the same results. Now let's begin by creating a unit test. First, a word about naming test classes. We're going to use JUnit for our unit tests. We're now in a position to write our first test case. A new test case is a public method returning void and taking no arguments. Additionally, it is annotated using the JUnit test annotation. The name of the method should express the intent of the test. What this means is that the static method, say, on the class Hello World, should return the string Hello World. Neither the class nor the method exist yet, so this is why we say we drive the production code from the test. The next step is to create the required production code so our test class can compile. Now you may ask, why not return the string Hello World, because we know that's what we need to make the test pass. This is tempting, but part of the discipline of test-driven development is to write only enough production code to get our test code compiling. We want to run the test and demonstrate that it fails before we write the production code to make it pass. This may seem incredibly pedantic, especially in this trivial case, but fostering this kind of discipline and taking these things forward in small steps is what will keep you safe and help you grow in confidence. Now that our production code and our test code both compile, we're in a position to run the test and show that it fails. But how do we do that? Using ANT is probably the most in line with getting down to first principles, so we'll go with that. Now that we have ANT installed, we need to explain to it how to build our project. We do this by creating a file called build.xml in the root directory of our project. So let's try it. Here we can see that we have compiled our production code and then compiled our test code. Okay, so we can compile our production code and test code. Now we want to run the tests and report the results. Okay, let's try that. We see that ANT has told us a bunch of things about what happened during the test run. The bottom line is that there is a HTML report for us to view. We see confirmation that we had one test run and one failure. Clicking on the failure will have it explained to us. Now this should be correct. Let's rerun our tests and see what happens. Again, confirmation that we have a successful test run. This is our first run-through of the red-green cycle that defines test-driven development. Okay, we're almost there. We can compile and test our code at this stage. The next thing for us to do is to publish our production code as an artifact, in this case a jar file. For that we need to go back to our ANT file. And there you have it. Let's just check that our jar looks right. Now let's convert our project into a web application. We'll create a JSP that echoes the output of our Hello World class. Then we'll create a WAR file from that, deploy it, and demonstrate that it works. Now we want to create our WAR file. Again, we turn to ANT to do this. Let's deploy it and see what happens. And there you go. Our WAR file deployed properly and ran successfully. So in summary, we've gone from an empty directory to a deployed WAR file in the space of 20 minutes. Along the way, we've put in place a sensible directory layout, an automated test suite, and automated WAR file creation. I think this is no mean achievement. In fact, I think it's something to be celebrated. And celebration is a necessary part of starting an agile project. It's as important as knowing the APIs and the tools and the XML files. It's important that you high-five with your pair when you get small increments like this done and have some fun. Or whatever your style might be. I paired with a guy once who used to do a little dance every time we did a check-in. So foster an attitude of celebration on your team and have fun. It'll make you better programmers. Next time, we'll build on what we have here by cleaning up the Ant file, putting source code control in place, getting continuous integration running, and beginning a real project. So thanks for watching and see you next time.